Two. Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes, mostly, trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which is riddled with who did it, and hopefully, it won't happen to me. And could this happen to me? And this is a
Mm-hmm.
goddamn crazy situation. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. We'll see, because we are recapping for you American
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare. Honey, this is part one, The Boyfriend, and it's on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. A three-part so far
Mm-hmm.
true crime docuseries that is following the mysterious case of Denise Huskins,
Mm-hmm.
who unfortunately her and her at that boyfriend Aiden Quinn were involved in a crazy story, and people did or did not believe it, is what
Mm-hmm.
it feels like from this moment. But my goodness, let me tell you this. This American Nightmare is going to be given to you by two American dreams, honey. We're your
Yes.
dream, sweeties. Yeah.
Boy, we'll make you happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're your
Yeah.
dream, sweeties.
Oh,
Boy,
hey.
we'll always investigate. Yeah.
Wow. That little birdie at the end. But
Mm-hmm.
it opens, honey, like idealistic,
Mm-hmm.
like in a situation that I will probably never have, but we'll talk about it right now. Is that it's just a lovers on a beach, honey. Two lovers beaching, honey, just like little sand crabs just like floating around, jumping on each other, just like girl jumps on guy, guy jumps on girl. I don't know, just like running out to the beach, just like little
Mm-hmm.
dolphins swim back, just like in
Mm-hmm.
love, just
Yeah.
as if the sand's not going in all the
Yeah.
cracks.
Yeah. There's sweaters, there's Ray-Bans, there's waves,
Yeah.
there's a guy giggling behind a camera, there's a girl frolicking in the waves, having a good time. And we know that there is shenanigans afoot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a young couple, they're in love. That is what that scene means.
Mm-hmm.
And
First
he's
image.
like,
Yes.
"Babe." And she's like, "Hi." You know, it's California. And then we hear a phone ringing and we
No.
hear voiceover, "Emergency." And we
Mm-hmm.
hear like a very California guy like, yeah, my girlfriend got kidnapped last night. And then the guy's like, the emergency
Woman,
person is like,
like,
Oh, okay, like, so what did you,
do
so
it? I'm
you're
sorry.
just, yeah, are you telling us now?"
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Yeah, no, they gave me like sedative. I think it was NyQuil and like Dexatrim. Not Dexatrim, but something with starting with a D.
It's Nutrisystem. It was like a Nutrisystem
It was like,
codeine cocktail,
yeah, it was
like they're
like
like, what?
something." And the emergency person is like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think it was that." And like so specific to where me as an audience member was like, "How did you know it was like NyQuil and Dexatrim?"
Yeah.
And the person was like, "So you're just telling us now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was tied up." So it's immediately unbelievable.
Yes.
Immediately me and the emergency services person is like, "You did it.
Yes. Yes.
You did it because it's been hours and you're telling me that you were given NyQuil and some medication starting with a D somehow, and this person was kidnapped, and you're just telling us now, and it
It
happened last
is
night."
yes. It is March 23rd of 2015. And it's 1:53 p.m. when Aaron Quinn calls, who is the boyfriend, not to be confused with Aiden Quinn of Practical Magic and Blue Eyed fame.
Yes,
Okay, not that person, but in
not
fact,
that
Aaron
person.
Quinn.
Mhm.
Who again is calling. So at 1:53, this emergency operator is just a whole ass confused of like this again, this person was kidnapped last night. You were, tied up and or just like sedated up until just now. And
Mhm.
again, he does sound sedated. Like I want to
Mhm.
be sedated. He does sound it
Mhm.
in or some kind of way that is also disconnected from any sort
Mhm.
of emotion about this. Like you best know,
Basically, rather calm.
yeah, yeah, too calm,
Mhm.
if you know, you want to be like, well, if this was me, you know, like I'd be a crazy balloon, you know,
Mhm.
like, and undoubtedly I would. Like, I don't even know what to tell you if, like, suddenly, if like one night we were hanging out, me and you, Wahama, and then like
Mhm.
you were taken, and someone gave me a mix of blobbity bloops and you know,
Siggity bops. Mhm.
siggity bops, and then I had a call like 12 hours later.
Mhm.
No, even yeah, 12 hours later. The emergency, I'm sorry, I keep saying emergency room, emergency operator, I would just be like, "What?" They'd be like, "Excuse me, ma'am." They'd be like, "What?" This is like, I know my microphone's just like not do anything, but like basically it would be just Mariah Carey on speed, high notes of screaming in such a way that no one could and would be able to understand, not nary a word. And then when they brought me down again, when they brought me down, which would be like more sedatives and then like 10,000 gravity blankets for me to slow my mind down, for me to articulate what had happened. But he
Yes.
just, you know, he just seems real cool and collected. So basically, he they, you know, they come, he goes to the police people, you know,
Uh-huh.
they do a little what they call an interview.
The
And
police
early
people.
on, the you know, the popo. And
Mhm.
early on, he says that his whole thing was that he was just going to tell them every goddamn thing, every little horny detail, because it'd be better for him if he just explained everything that
Mhm.
had happened so that
Mhm.
they can digest it, the seekers, and they would seek the truth. And I
Yes.
also mildly understand this because I give too much information all the time as well, because I think it will do them a service to know everything. But no, it
Yes.
does not, and shoots me in the
Mhm.
foot.
Mhm.
And I feel like you're
But
agreeing with
also,
me. What?
yeah, let me also say that this is a
Say
white
it.
male who believes that the police is there
Yes,
to
yes, yes,
help
yes.
him. And as a black woman,
Yes, yes.
I know that the police is not there to help me as a black. And so I immediately understand that the police is there to find a
Mm.
criminal. And as a
Mhm.
black, I
Mhm.
most likely will be the criminal. And as a male of in a relationship with a female, that if there was a crime committed to a female, that most likely I am the person who did the thing. And so for him to be so calm, because we have camera footage of the police on their chest. We have the police's footage, right? And so he's so calm. So the police come out to him because emergency services is like, we'll send the police out. And the
Mhm,
police
mhm,
come, they have guns out, which I
mhm.
found very interesting because I was like, if someone called you and said that their partner was kidnapped and that the kidnappers had taken that person, why would you show up at this person's home, guns out?
Guns
This is really
blazing.
crazy. Blazing, ready to go. So they are
Guns
already
blazing.
at this man's house,
Mhm.
ready to find him guilty and also ready to shoot him because they come to this man's house with their guns out. And for some reason, this man is not at the door to let them in. So we have footage of them like clear, clear, clear. And then they see him and they have they're like, hey, and they pull him out, and he's still really calm, hands in pockets in the kitchen, talking about what happened. They tied
Mhm.
him with zip ties. They put some sort of felt tip, like the tip of my microphone, some 1980s headphones on his ear. He's listening to
Mhm.
wind chimes. He's real calm.
Mhm.
In the recording that's on his ears, it tells him what exactly they're giving him and what exactly they're going to do. They realize that the person that they're kidnapping is not his ex-girlfriend, it's his current girlfriend. So they're looking for Andrea, his ex-girlfriend. His current girlfriend is this girl who her name escapes me. What's her current name?
Denise.
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 And so they're like, this is not Andrea. And they're like, no, this is Denise. And they're like, well, fuck it, we're here, so we might as well take her. So they take her.
What? That I mean, what? It's like that part is
Mhm.
like there's a lot of craziness about this, and unfortunately, that little bit of detail about the ex-girlfriend is gonna open up another can of worms that's gonna seal this motherfucker's fate, like, before
Yeah.
he, you know. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So we have that bit of information that he provides the
Bit of it.
police. So bit
Mhm.
of it, bit of it. So he's telling them that in the kitchen, hands in pockets, and then they take him outside. He's sitting on his front stoop. A cat comes by. The cat is meowing. He pets the cat. And they're asking him more questions, and he's giving as much information as possible as
So
he
much
can
detail in
give,
that one moment that you were like, I know,
giving him as much
that was
information.
her American Nightmare. That's why. That's why you remembered it.
That's why his cat came by, and I was like, "Ooh, a cat."
I know. And then he was like, yeah, and you were like, ah.
He
But then
pet that
sometimes you
cat.
say you want a cat. Like, so how
I
are you
know.
gonna?
I
Okay,
go back and forth. I go back and
yeah,
forth because
okay.
a cat is a pet that you can have that you don't have to take out to walk. But a cat is also a demon, and they guard the gates of hell in some religious lore.
You should get
But
a
they
bunny.
also
You're a bunny girl.
scratch you. I know I
Bunny.
wanna bu I feel like I could
You're a
get a
bunny.
bunny, but they shit everywhere, and then you have to keep them in a cage, and, like, then they eat a lot, and, like, I don't want a bunny either, but then some people have such a good experience with cats, and then some people get scratched by their cats. Some people's cats jump on them in the middle of the night and scare the
All the
shit out
time,
of
that
them,
one. Yeah, no, that's
and
you
I
can't
and
do.
I
You can't.
just
I think a
I
bunny's for
can't do
you.
that because I literally would murderation the cat
I
if they
think
were
you
to
could
jump on
train
me, shit.
bunnies to go to like the bunnies just go to their cage or their little like pee pad and they go there and like do their thing. Like I think you're a bunny person. Like I've never like I
I
think you'd be great with a
just
bunny.
I think I can't have an animal. I think I just can't have an I mean, I love dogs. I love them, but then you have to walk them. You have to walk them so they can poo poo and pee pee, and I can't do that either.
You're right. So
So
basically, I want to tell you that one of the first characters that we meet, Matt Mustard, which sounds like Colonel Mustard, which sounds like you're playing Clue.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the library with the candlestick.
Yes. Yes.
I
I mean,
can't that person, Matt Mustard, has lived an
uh-huh.
entire life of Clue jokes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the
Yeah.
library with the candlestick, in the
Yes.
kitchen with the knife, in the parlor with the gun. This man has never lived a life normal
Mm.
without someone telling him that he has committed a murder, which is why he's become a police officer. And
He had no way.
this is what's
Yeah.
happened.
If
He
he's
had
not a
no other
detective,
recourse
what
in
the fuck's he
life.
gonna do? Well, a
Yeah.
colonel.
Yeah,
He
if
could
he's
have
not
gone
a
in the
police
army.
officer or a colonel, what else is he gonna do without someone he can't be sitting at his desk typing away, being HR or being in finance without being someone peering over the cubicle being like, "Hey, Matt, did you do it in the veranda?"
And he's like, "Honey, I did it with Miss Scarlet. I did it over
Yeah,
and over again with
I
Miss
didn't miss
Scarlet." I love me some Miss Scarlet.
someone's like, "Hey, Matt, did you do it in the veranda with the ice pick?"
He's like, "Honey, she did it with me with the ice pick." Boop! You know?
Yeah. So,
Little pegging joke. But anyway, let's move on. So, that's,
oh,
but
living
he's living his best life, honey. Just like,
living my best
and by
life.
living his best life, he's really making a judgment, or it feels like he's telling us how things went down, and it's looking like it's a biased situation, but at the same time, at this point, we, the audience, think that he did it. We think that he
Mhm,
did it in episode
mhm.
1. Now, I'm not saying I haven't watched all yet. I'm only in episode 2, but I know that there's gonna be twistsies and turnsies, but it very much feels like, oh, he is too cool for school. He's cool as a cucumber, and this
Mhm,
is what's happening. He killed
mhm,
it. But
mhm.
then what happens is that, yeah, so he keeps telling the exact same story over and over again, and each time he says it, it is identical and has been for years, but also fanciful, full of details and full of he's just like, I
And
was
by
just like,
years, Chris means hours because he's in the interrogation room in the police office, so he's been telling it for hours. They've kept him in the police office interrogation room for hours. Go ahead.
yes, but also truly also, even when he's telling us in the Netflix special, he started telling us in the confessional, and then they cut back to him at that moment, giving the
Mhm,
exact same details. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
mhm,
Which
mhm,
are
mhm,
he's asleep. There's a white light, or he's awoken with a light. It's like in his eyes, they shine at him. They say him by name. They're like Aaron Quinn, not Aiden Quinn, but Aaron Quinn. Aaron Quinn, get over, turn around, lie down. They're like, and
mhm,
so that's already. So then he turns around, lies down. He gets the fucking things on him. He gets the wind chime. It's all the sedatives, all of that. And then we also get to learn more information, take the information, or take the little Druzy Drews. Look at her, honey. She's like a little sleepy mouse in a cartoon. I love it so much. Drunk mouse. Um, we find out that this Denise, God bless, is a beautiful
Physical
physical
therapist.
therapist. Thank you so much. Physical therapist. And in fact, that's how she met one Aaron Quinn. And guess what? That Andrea that we talked about, like we mentioned, when they were like, oh, we're here for Andrea, and Andrea wasn't there. So they just, Denise was like pushed out, and
Mhm,
they're like, we'll take
mhm,
that white woman. As long
mhm,
as you fucked an Aaron Quinn, we'll take you. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
So basic so basically Aaron, Denise, and Andrea all work in the same wing of a physical therapy unit of a hospital. Okay.
mhm.
In fact, Andrea, of course, dated one Aaron Quinn, and then we get to
Yes.
see Andrea be questioned, and it's great. Wahama, go ahead.
Yes. So, Andrea
Mm-hmm.
is still friends with Aaron. They still chat.
Mm-hmm.
Fact, Denise has found out that Aaron and Andrea are still kind of chatting. And she's annoyed by this. And Andrea
What
is like,
we all would be.
yeah, Andrea is like, listen, Aaron is still kind of obsessed with me. I cheated on him, which is my bad. But his personality is kind of just not really there. He's kind of monotone, and so I wanted a guy with a little bit of adventure. But Denise ignores me. She acts like I didn't have a relationship with her man, and I say hi to her, but she doesn't say hi back to me, which is really awkward and odd. But whatever. But he still talks to me. We were engaged, in fact, so that's weird that she acts like she didn't know that. But she recently has told him that he has to stop talking to me. And Aaron says, yeah, it was bad of me to continue talking to Andrea, but like I still kind of harbor feelings for her. I don't want to get back with her, but it just kind of messed up the way the whole thing happened. And so Denise found
That's
out.
so fucked up. Like, that is just like, that is a fucked up thing, like, because it
I
does
mean,
make you
but
seem like,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I guess, but like he's with
that's some
her.
Sinjin, but that's some Sinjin soulmate thing, like, you
Yeah.
can't tell someone that you like, I still am harboring feelings for my ex when you're with them. It just does not, it's too much truth. Like, or you got to figure it out. Like, it's just one of those things where how does the other person come back from that? I think it's too much of an ask. But I just fucking love Andrea, who's just like literally asked point blank, and I can't remember if it's Andrea or Andrea, and I, whatever, God bless. She's literally asked point blank by, I don't know if it's Matt Mustard, I want to think it is. Like, does he harbor feelings for you? And she's like, I do think that if I gave him a gander in the room that he was in, if I looked in what room that he was in and he knew if he could smell it, he'd be back
Yeah.
in my arms. She's
If I
just like,
tooted, he would boot it.
he would fruit it. I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, no, you're right. He would boot it with like a Stuart Weitzman.
Mhm.
I don't know, like a fancy boot.
Yeah, and we talk about it. We have a situation where even his like her like Denise's parents entered the chat at some point, and they talk about not really knowing Aaron, and like when they find out the situation, they're a little bit like, well, what's going on? And then her brother enters the chat, and the brother's like, well, we don't really know this guy, so we want to know what's up with him and what's going on. And we hear a little drama with the ex fiance. And then we can tell, though, that Denise comes from a family of parents who are no longer together
Mm,
because the father, he's in his easy boy in a different place than the mother who's at the dining room table in another scenario. So it's just really interesting, the whole situation.
yeah. And then Aaron pretty much is like, look, and it's not just the fact that, uh, I got, I was awoken and my girlfriend was taken from me and it looks like I fucking did it and all these crazy things happened. But like, and also, just so you know, the reason why it took me so long to even call you is because after I was drugged and woken up, I saw that they had put cameras, and I was so afraid that if I had moved from this red triangle or rectangle around me, that they would come and kill me. But then suddenly they call me and tell me that I need to give them $15,000. I then tell them I need more time to do it. Then I like text them back and they don't text me. And then I freak out. That's when I call you. So,
Yeah.
like, that is
He
the
only
amount of.
has he only has 3,500. That's the only amount Chase will give him.
Which then is like, okay, so basically, if you were, I mean, like, if this is like, okay, if Andrea was supposed to be the one there, like, was it always a ransom thing? And that's why they were like, we don't care if it's Andrea or this girl, as long as we're coming to you. And why is he rich? Like, I want to be like, well, we'll see what happens. Wouldn't it be great if he was rich and this was like all about knowing that he was like secretly wealthy? But basically, you know, it becomes this thing where it's like also ransom and like that's a layer that is just too hard to swallow, you know, like
Mhm,
it's
mhm,
a too hard to swallow layer.
mhm.
um Also
Too
at this
hard to
time,
swallow.
the police give him a polygraph test, and
No,
then
the
they
FBI girl, the FBI, not the
okay,
popos, not the
right, you know, one of
FBI.
them. Thank you, babe, go ahead. Or
Mhm. The FBI give him a polygraph. Now it's a federal crime. Now,
mhm,
I don't know
mhm,
why, because to me, the
mhm,
federals is when it's state to state. So I'm not understanding what happened. So
mhm,
the feds come in. And
mhm.
then so okay, before we go to the feds, Matt Mustard is like, "I think you did it." And Matt Mustard is like, "I think you did it. It's time for me to pack up. I got to go."
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
done.
And then we have now they've decided that he did it and they're trying to like call his bluff now. And he's like in the corner. They give him some old school chain gang clothing. I mean, it's striped and everything.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why. I don't know. He had his own clothes. He had a hoodie and some jeans
Psychological.
on.
I wonder if they had to,
Psychological
like, test
warfare.
it. Yeah, I wonder if they had to, like yeah, I wonder this was all fucked up, but I
Did he
wonder if they
pee
took his
himself?
clothes for
Did he boo
well,
boo himself? Why
I
did they
would've.
give him new clothes? Uh, yes.
But it had to have
So
usually they probably thought that his, like they're probably like, "This there's fingerprints all over you," you know?
yeah, I don't know. So then the FBI comes in and they give him some, they put it on, and then they're like, okay, take everything off, sit down. And they're like, Aaron, without a shadow of a doubt, you failed that test. So tell us why you killed her. And he's like, well, I think I need a lawyer now. And I'm like, bitch, you needed a lawyer 17 hours ago.
Yeah.
You needed a
Mhm.
lawyer when you called the police. How dare you believe that the police are on your side? They are not on your side. If you were black, you would know that. You would know that if you were a person of color, that they are not on your side. When this blonde white woman went missing, okay, the most protected class in America. So you are not you are person number one, because anytime any woman, regardless of race, be serious in this moment. Anytime a woman goes missing, if she has a connection to a man, most likely the man did it statistically. And so I don't know why you thought they would protect you, but they weren't. So, and also a case hole in one and done. Most likely it was used statistically. So that's crazy that you thought they would be on your side. So now he's like, I think I need a lawyer. I think I need a lawyer. They leave him alone because the FBI agent is like, okay, you said you think you need a lawyer. So he got up and leaves. And then Aaron's all of a sudden in the corner, shoeless in his chain gang outfit, crying in the corner. And I said, good for you. Good for you for recognizing the situation. So he's crying, and then they're like getting him a lawyer. So his lawyer are two lawyers, an older man who's like in his 70s or something, and he's like, what's going on here? And then he has a partner. Let's see, let's try to find out what the name they are. So this is all happening in Vallejo, California, which is up north. Fun fact, I went to college with a guy from Vallejo,
That is a fun
California.
fact. Yeah.
And
What'd
so
you think? What was it like? What was your impression?
I mean, he was like, I'm from Vallejo. And I was like, Valle, no. Whatever.
Oh, it's
I'm
horrible.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was bad. It was bad. So because he didn't report the crime for 7 hours, like it's a whole thing. Um,
Something else happens
so
that's horrible.
we meet Henry Lee, who's also
Mhm.
a a reporter who does crime specifically. So he's seen the worst of the worst. Um, Go ahead, because I'm trying to find out. They think it's
Yeah.
a Gone Girl situation.
Well, this is
Also,
what happens. So then the police, who are already like, he fucking did it, he did it, he did it, they go to Denise's parents, right? And they're like, well, what's the tea with Deanie? You know, sorry, I have a Aunt Denise.
who
We
the
call her
hell is
Deanie.
Deanie?
I have an Aunt Denise. We call her Deanie.
Did you
So
just make
sorry.
that up?
Yeah. No, I have an
Oh.
Aunt Denise. I have an aunt named Denise. I said this already 3 times. That's why I'm sorry. You're right.
Oh.
I have an Aunt Denise. We call her Deanie for short. For short. So Deanie is what I equate for short for Denise. Sorry, I threw it in
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Anyway, having said that, they go to Deanie's parents, and Deanie's parents are like, Yeah, can you please find our daughter?" Like, "Yeah, we're gonna find her, but, like, tell us what the tea with her is. Like, what's her backstory?" They're like, "Our backstory is we can't find her. We don't know where she is. What are you fucking talking about?" He's like, "Well, just sometimes when, like, things like this happen, there's can be just, like, a trauma root," and they're like, "Ugh, well, I mean, yes, there was, like, this time in which she had this sexual assault, she was molested back," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, there it is, honey, now we know, because every time these molested girls want attention again, I remember the time that they got attention, and they do shit like this again." Like, basically saying something wild like that, where
Which
then,
is
like, Denise's
crazy.
parents are like, "What the fuck did you just say to us?"
Yeah.
Like, which is interesting because, it feels very much like people made decisions where they assigned the stories to these biased decisions that were suddenly it that clouded them from really doing their due diligence along the way. But at the same time, we understand that some of these techniques that are used to, like, get Aaron to crack is stuff that happens all the time everywhere, because police start to use manipulation techniques and stuff to use it. Like, I'm just saying, honey, from someone who's watched a lot of Law and Order. I mean, I've seen Christopher Maloney on SVU, honey, go out like, some guy he thought that, was a bad guy, and suddenly that bad guy starts peeing in his pants, and maybe it was
Mhm.
realized that that bad guy isn't so bad,
Mhm.
and he's peeing in his pants for a reason.
Mhm.
So having said that, back to you.
Lots of pee in the pants. Yes. So Dan Russo and Amy Morton are the lawyers that step in to help him. And they're trying to piece together some things too, but they're also like, yeah, if you're not charging my client, let my client go. And since
Mhm.
they didn't have any evidence, they let Aaron go and they ended up taking him out. Now, Denise has been missing at this point for 31 hours. And there's a
Mhm.
twist in the case. Denise makes contact with Henry, the reporter, and she says
Yeah.
she's been kidnapped. And she's very calm. She's very calm and collected.
My
And
God, what CBD oil are these, like, kidnappers giving everyone, only because, like, not that I want to be kidnapped, but please do not fucking come for me, but at the same time, I would love to be relaxed.
yes, I mean, just definitely relax. And so Henry then takes this and passes it on the police. And then we have Colonel Mustard in the library
Mhm.
with the ice pick or with the
Mhm.
candlestick.
Mhm.
And she, the, they're the one who finds all of this out. And that, so this is the one we get the relieve the thrill type situation with the sexual assault situation.
Mhm.
So Mike Huskins gets the message from Denise saying that she's on her way to his house, and then she's been located in Huntington Beach. So she's no longer in Vallejo, Northern California. She's now in Huntington Beach, which is in Southern California. um
In Orange County, in Southern Orange
mhm,
County, I've been there a billion times. There's a dog beach, also great waves. Also, if you're watching 90 Day Fiance right now, for some reason, Sam's dad is obsessed with Huntington Beach, keeps wearing a shirt from Huntington Beach. Anyway,
mhm. And that's where she grew
bravo.
up. That's where her parents live. That's where she's from. So the police now hold a press conference and state that they've had a hard time believing Aaron's story. And they blame him and Denise for wasting the police's time and resources. And they suggest that the whole thing was a hoax. And they
No.
say that both of them might face charges. And then
Mm,
that's when the whole Gone Girl thing comes up. And because the movie has been recently released, it's a whole thing about, they have now come up with a fake kidnapping to frame the partner for murder. And so it's the whole thing. So the episode ends with Denise kind of walking up, being like, I've been released. And then we have Denise sitting in the present day, ready to sit down for an interview to tell her side of the story.
yes.
So that's where the end of episode 1 ends. So I mean, we're in for a wild story. So I mean, a
I
real
agree.
good, nice pivot from Natalia Grace. So I'm really excited for this.
Yes, because the storytelling feels way chiller, way less heavy-handed. I just get to experience it, without, like, having to, like, be so sensationalized. I'll tell you the one thing I want more of is Andrea. And I wanna know, for instance, I feel like my big question is, "Hey, Andrea, who'd want you kidnapped? Hey, Andrea, who hates your fucking guts? Hey, Andrea, like, why are we going into Andrea's who wants Andrea dead, and how come we didn't ask her that?
Also, hey
We know
Andrea,
who wants to fuck her, but I mean, who wants her dead?"
who do you know that owns wetsuits who would
Oh, yeah.
go into someone's home
Best part.
and kidnap them in wetsuits? Because the kidnappers, according to Aaron, walked into his home with wetsuits, meaning that they did not want any of their DNA
Yeah.
anywhere in his home.
It's smart.
Meaning
It's
that they were
because you're in a
they
latex
were
kind of thing.
sweating as they were doing it, and they put him in headphones with like pre-recorded messaging with wind chimes
Who was the
stating
voiceover artist saying, like, who had a yeah.
stating what medications they gave him. Something easy breezy, NyQuil and like Dexatrim, not Dexatrin, but something else. Like
Dimetap
something-
Dimetap and ephedrine. No, Dimetap and
I mean,
Zendrine or
I
whatever.
just like so happy, like just such a smart crime to be committed.
Yeah, it's the nerdiest setup of a crime, and the way that he just keeps being like, "Well, it's the wetsuits and they said my name." You're just like, "Okay. Well, my loves." Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's just great. Like, and they didn't
Yeah.
even there's no break in entry. So it's like obviously Andrea gave him a key. They like
Andrea
walked into his fucking house. They just walked in,
Andrea
they
did
put a
this.
key in.
Andrea did this.
Yeah, Andrea did this.
Andrea did it. Yeah.
She did it.
Why aren't we saying
That's
it?
our theory. That's our theory.
Andrea fucking did it. It's
Yeah.
so Andrea. It smells like Andrea. It smells
Yeah.
like that like Lobinka. I forgot that stupid perfume. Lemon
Lobinka?
Pika, Lolita
I mean,
Lemon Pika, or like Capri Blue.
also,
There,
did they
Capri
come
Blue.
in like flippers too? Were they just like
Of course, she's in Huntington Beach, honey. They're like weird. They're like surfer. They're surfer kidnappers. They're like,
yeah.
hey, sex wax. It's like all in. They're if they're not if they're on the ground, then they're wearing rainbow sandals. That's what the surfers wear. They wear rainbows, or I guess those Havanas. All right, my loves. Can you believe it? Can you believe that we're on another one? But yeah, this was great. This is 3 episodes long. Again, it's on Netflix. So, and it's a good palate cleanser from Natalia Grace, which is weird to say, but true.
Yeah, check it out. Also, for those of you watching on YouTube, this is the only time you'll see this, so you should join us on our Patreon or on our free feed, patreon.com, not patreon.com, free feed. Follow us on the podcast. We have a podcast. So you're watching us on YouTube, but you hear this and you see this. It's a podcast. Go on Apple, go on Google, go on podcasts, on wherever you listen to podcasts.
Spotify, honey, whatever.
Spotify, girl, all the things. Okay. This is just a little sneak preview. We hoped you enjoyed it, and all the good things. So patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month if you want to support your girls. It's a good time. You have exclusive content such as the live every first Monday of the month. But if you can't do that, Chris will tell you how you can do so otherwise. Chris?
I'm about to post to our Instagram that we're even doing American Nightmare because we've been asked to do it. So yes, we're doing it. Here it is. You can follow us for free wherever you want, of course, and listen to our podcast. Again, wherever you listen to podcasts. But we are at DocuSweeties on Instagram. We are at DocuSweeties on TikTok. We are at DocuSweeties1 on X. And we have a private Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. We love you guys so much. Please give us, 5 stars if you listen to us wherever you can, but also you can comment on this video. Anyway, God bless. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.